Welcome back to another chilling episode. Today, we're diving into 3 horrifying true diner horror stories that will make you think twice before your next meal out. These are the kinds of stories that stick with you long after you've finished your meal, lingering in the back of your mind like the scent of stale coffee. So buckle up, turn down the lights, and get ready to hear about the dark side of greasy spoons. We're journeying into the heart of Americana, where comfort food meets bone-chilling terror. Our first story takes us to a late-night diner in rural Pennsylvania, a place where truckers and travelers found solace in the dead of night. It was a sanctuary for those who roamed the highways, a beacon of light in the darkness. The air was thick with the smell of coffee and desperation, a blend that seemed to cling to the walls and the patrons alike. It was the kind of atmosphere that hangs heavy after midnight, when the world outside is silent and the only sounds are the clinking of cutlery and murmured conversations. It was here that a young waitress, let's call her Sarah, first encountered a man we'll call him the Drifter. Sarah was used to the late-night crowd, but this man was different. He was unassuming at first, just another lonely face in the crowd, nursing a cup of coffee and staring out the window. His presence was almost ghostly, blending into the background. But Sarah noticed something off about him, a stillness in his eyes that sent shivers down her spine. It was as if he was watching her every move, calculating. He became a regular, always sitting at the same booth, always ordering the same thing, black coffee and a slice of apple pie. His routine was unsettling in its predictability. He never spoke much, but his eyes followed Sarah's every move, making her skin crawl. It was an unspoken threat, a silent promise of something sinister. One night, Sarah found a napkin tucked under her usual coffee pot. Her heart raced as she unfolded it. It had a crude drawing of her on it, with exaggerated features and a chilling message scrawled beneath. "You're mine." Panic seized her, and she felt a cold sweat break out. She showed the napkin to the cook, a burly man named Gus, who had a soft spot for Sarah. Gus had always looked out for her, like a protective older brother. Gus told her to stay put while he called the sheriff, his face grim. He knew this was more than just a prank. But when they returned to the diner floor, the Drifter was gone. It was as if he had vanished into thin air, leaving behind an eerie silence. Days turned into weeks, and the fear that had taken root in Sarah's stomach only grew. She couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, even in her own home. She started seeing the Drifter everywhere, in the shadows across the street, in the reflection of her own window at home. It was as if he was haunting her, a ghost she couldn't escape. Then, one rainy Tuesday morning, Sarah didn't show up for her shift. The diner felt emptier without her, a void that everyone noticed. Gus found her apartment unlocked, the door slightly ajar. His heart sank as he pushed it open, fearing the worst. Inside, her place was eerily quiet, untouched, except for a single napkin left on her kitchen table. It was a chilling reminder of the danger she had been in. It was the same napkin with the chilling drawing, and this time, a new message was scrawled beneath. "You should have stayed." The words were a final, terrifying warning. The Drifter was never found, and Sarah's disappearance remains a mystery to this day. The small town was left with more questions than answers. Some say she ran away, unable to shake the terror that had become her reality. They believe she started a new life, far from the shadows of her past. Others believe something far more sinister occurred that night, something that swallowed Sarah whole and left no trace behind. The legend of the Drifter lives on, a haunting tale of fear and mystery. Our next story takes us to the dusty plains of Oklahoma, where a roadside diner named the Starlight Oasis has stood for over 70 years, a relic of a bygone era. It was once a beacon for weary travelers, its neon sign a promise of warmth and comfort, a place where the road-weary could find solace. But beneath the veneer of greasy spoons and friendly service lies a darkness that refuses to be ignored, a sinister presence that lingers in the shadows. The stories began subtly at first, whispers from empty booths, barely audible murmurs that sent shivers down the spine, plates rattling on their own, as if moved by an invisible force, the ghostly aroma of bacon and pancakes in the dead of night, when the kitchen was long closed. The waitresses, hardened by years of double shifts and demanding customers, brushed it off as their imaginations playing tricks on them, dismissing the odd occurrences as fatigue. But the occurrences grew bolder, more insistent, as if the spirits were demanding to be acknowledged. A jukebox, silent for decades, suddenly roared to life, belting out a forgotten Elvis tune, startling everyone present. Salt and pepper shakers danced across tables, seemingly propelled by an unseen hand, defying the laws of physics. And then there were the apparitions. Shadowy figures flitting past the kitchen door, barely visible but undeniably there. A man in a fedora who vanished into thin air, leaving behind only a chill in the air, and the spectral image of a young woman weeping in the corner booth, her sorrow palpable. One night, a group of teenagers dared each other to spend the night in the diner, eager to prove their bravery and capture evidence of the paranormal, their excitement masking their underlying fear. They set up cameras, recording every corner of the dimly lit space, their laughter echoing through the empty booths, a stark contrast to the eerie silence that would soon follow. As the night wore on, the laughter died down, replaced by an unnerving silence, the kind that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. The cameras captured strange orbs of light, unexplained cold spots that seemed to move with a will of their own, and the sound of disembodied whispers, voices that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. But the most disturbing footage appeared just before dawn, a moment that would be etched in their memories forever. One of the teenagers, a cocky young man who had scoffed at the idea of ghosts, was captured on camera, frozen in terror, his eyes wide with fear as he stared at something unseen, something that defied explanation. He backed away slowly, his mouth moving but no sound coming out, his bravado shattered. Then, the footage cut out abruptly, leaving only questions and a sense of dread. The teenagers fled the diner, their bravado shattered, leaving behind their equipment and a chilling mystery that would haunt them for years to come. The footage from that night surfaced online, fueling the legend of the Starlight Oasis and cementing its reputation as one of the most haunted diners in America, a place where the past refuses to rest. Our final story brings us to the neon-drenched streets of Las Vegas, a city that never truly sleeps, where a diner named Lucky's 24/7 caters to the city's insomniacs and night owls. It's a place where dreams are made and broken, where the air is thick with hope and despair, where fortunes are won and lost in the blink of an eye, and where, in the blink of an eye, a person can vanish without a trace, leaving behind only questions. This is the story of Jenny, a young waitress new to the city, full of dreams and aspirations, chasing a dream of becoming a showgirl on the Strip, where the lights are always bright. She took the graveyard shift at Lucky's, working through the night, serving coffee and tired smiles to gamblers and insomniacs who wandered in. Jenny was a ray of sunshine in the dead of night, her presence a comfort to many, always quick with a kind word and a listening ear. One slow Wednesday morning, as the first rays of dawn crept over the horizon, Jenny vanished without a trace, leaving behind an eerie silence. She had been clearing tables, her usual cheerful self, chatting with the regulars, when she seemingly disappeared into thin air, as if swallowed by the shadows. Her purse and belongings were left untouched in the staff room, a stark reminder of her sudden absence, her last cup of coffee still steaming on the counter. The police were called immediately, but their investigation yielded no leads. Jenny's co-workers were baffled, unable to comprehend her sudden disappearance, her friends and family heartbroken and desperate for answers. Days turned into weeks, and the trail went cold, leaving everyone in a state of perpetual uncertainty. Some whispered that she had run off, seeking her fortune elsewhere, perhaps in another city. Others speculated that she had fallen victim to the city's dark underbelly, a place where many have disappeared, swallowed whole by the neon jungle that is Las Vegas. But there were whispers of something more sinister at play, something beyond the ordinary. A few of the regulars at Lucky's claimed to have seen Jenny in the days following her disappearance, her figure flickering in and out of view, her presence like a ghostly apparition, her eyes filled with a haunting sadness that spoke of untold stories. Her eyes, once full of dreams, now seemed to carry the weight of the world. Some even claimed to have heard her voice, calling out their orders, a ghostly echo in the clatter of dishes and the murmur of conversation. The diner, once a place of comfort, now felt eerie and unsettling. One night, a busboy cleaning up after closing time stumbled upon a chilling discovery that would send shivers down anyone's spine. Tucked away in a corner booth, hidden from plain sight, he found a napkin with a message scrawled on it, written in a shaky hand that seemed to tremble with fear. It simply read, "She's still here. Don't stop looking." The message left everyone with more questions than answers. It was a haunting reminder that some mysteries are never truly solved, and some spirits never truly rest. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these terrifying tales, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more spine-chilling stories. Stay safe out there. And the next time you find yourself in a diner late at night, remember these stories. You never know who or what might be lurking in the shadows, or what secrets those greasy spoons hold.